individual is married to 3 women. He has 3 wives. Yet he's addicted to istibna'u bil-yad. Why intimacy is such a big issue is because you've got too many 1-minute men out there. And the reason why you got too many 1-minute men out there, it causes you to prematurely ejaculate. You won't be able to, you don't have stamina there. Assalamu alaikum. Now, big man thing before this video begins, because it's going to be a big video. 2 things. Firstly, subscribe. You're not moving nowhere till you subscribe. Number 2, did you subscribe? Well, then go back and subscribe. Okay, cool. Number 2, at the end, try your best to please share this video privately with someone who may benefit. Don't tag them in the post below because that might be embarrassing, but privately share it with them. Peace. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu wa maghfiratuh. Brothers and sisters, how you guys doing? So, today's video is going to be upon the topic of masturbation. I've been getting emails for this for about a year now, and I haven't made a video on this issue, but I thought, what the heck? People are suffering from this problem, we might as well make it. Now, I don't really like the word masturbation, man. It's kind of awkward me saying it. The Arabic term is istibna'u bil-yad. So, we're going to use this term for the duration of this video, inshallah, when referring to masturbation. So say it with me, but don't say it too loud if you have Arabic people with you. Istibna'u bil-yad. Istibna basically means to, bring pleasure to yourself, bil-yad, with your hand. So, is it permissible? Now, I'm going to teach you guys a principle within the religion, and this principle, it's going to help you when it comes to asking questions with regards to whether things are permissible or not. Now, when it comes to things that are within the dunya, things that don't have anything to do with the religion, they're not things that are actions of worship, then the rule of thumb is that every single thing is halal until proven to be haram. Everything. So, if someone comes to me and tells me that, hey bro, what you're doing is haram, you can't wear those clothes, you can't speak like that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, guess what? I have to say to him, you bring me an evidence. Until you bring me evidence, I'm going to do it all day, every day, because it's permissible for me. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, this principle is called istishab. Everything is halal until proven haram. But now, when it comes to the religion, actions of worship, it's the opposite. Everything is haram until proven to be halal. For example, if I want to now come and pray 5 rak'at in my salatul dhuhr instead of 4, is that permissible? Of course it's not. I can't bring new things into the religion. This is what you call a bid'ah. All of the bid'ah is basically you bringing a new action to the religion. For that you need the evidence. For you to do anything that the Prophet ﷺ or Allah didn't specify themselves, that's haram. Unless you can bring an evidence to say that they made it halal. With that said, istibna'u bil-yad, which category does it fall into? Well, because of istishab, generally speaking, it would make sense that this action is halal, because it's from the dunya. All things within the dunya are halal by default. But we have an evidence from the Quran that shows us that istibna'u bil-yad is haram. And I'm going to give you this evidence now. Just so you know, after I give you the evidence, I'm going to talk to you a bit about its harms and its dangers, and a bit about how to actually get over it. Because I know it's a big problem, and don't worry, I got your back. To some extent. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ma'arij, and this ayah, or similar to it, is in Surah Al-Nur as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says,
والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين.
From this ayah, we can see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is praising a group of people that protect their private parts. They don't fall into sin through their private parts. They don't do anything haram with their private organs. But the only people who they're allowed to not protect their private parts from, and Allah gives 2 exceptions: your spouses and that which your right hand possesses. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says,
فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العادون.
that anyone who exceeds this and they seek pleasure from their private parts through anyone other than these two means, i.e. their spouses and those that are halal for them, then فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. These people are the transgressors. They have exceeded the limits. They have earned the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, from this ayah, we get a rule. It is permissible for you to basically, do what you need to do when it comes to intimacy with your wife and those who are halal for you, but Allah made them the only exceptions to this rule. He didn't make our hands an exception to this rule. Allah didn't say subhanahu wa ta'ala that protect your private parts from everyone except your wives, those who are halal for you, and your own hand. Brothers and sisters, it's from this ayah that we can see your own hands are haram for you. You're not married to your hand. So whatever that comes to you, whatever pleasure you bring to yourself from your hands, it is impermissible on the basis of this ayah. Now, brothers and sisters, with that said, I want to highlight a few issues with regards to masturbation, istibna'u bil yad. Before I go into explaining to you how to get over it, apart from telling you it's haram, some of you might still just want to disobey Allah for the sake of it. I want you to understand the consequences of this. It has been shown that masturbation affects your memory. Istibna'u bil yad affects your body. Physical deformities happen. For example, parts of your body are more tilted than others, like your shoulder will drop, your chest will drop a little bit. It actually causes, and this is a major problem, it causes premature ejaculation. And intimacy is one of the biggest, and it's probably the number one main reason why couples have problems in their marital relationships. And one of the main reasons why they have relationship problems is because of intimacy. And one of the main problems why intimacy is such a big issue is because you've got too many 1-minute men out there. And the reason why you've got too many 1-minute men out there is because everyone is basically engaging in istibna'u bil yad. It causes you to prematurely ejaculate. You won't be able to, you don't have stamina there. It doesn't work and function there properly. So with that said, if you want to have and enjoy a healthy, intimate life with your spouse and really enjoy it and not have further problems in your marriage, then this is a road you don't want to go down. It's dangerous. And also it becomes an addiction to the extent where you will find more pleasure in your hand than in your spouse. Or your wife will find more pleasure in her own hand than she will find with her spouse. It's that deep where I was talking to one sheikh and he told me that a guy came to him and this individual is married to 3 women. He has 3 wives. Yet he's addicted to istibna'u bil yad. And the sheikh looked at him and the first question he asked him, because he has 3 wives, he says, how on earth did you find the time? But the point is that, forget that the point is that the guy's got 3 wives who both have intimate desires, they have sexual needs. And he's getting it. But he finds it in his wife. Like there are brothers, literally, they're looking at their wives, beautiful wives. And they're like, but, like they find pleasure in their hand. Like think about that for a second. I don't know, personally for me, like I think when you put it into perspective like that, it's a bit sad. It's a bit sad. I don't want to hear none of this crap that people tell you, oh, it's healthy for you to explore your body and all that kind of crap. Mostly they say this for women actually. Sisters, please, don't be fooled into that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best what's good for you and what's good for your body. Like I said to you, the opposite gender can do that for you once you're married. They can play with your body parts and whatnot, but you can't do it yourself. It's haram for you. Now, how does one overcome this addiction? Brothers and sisters, the Prophet ﷺ gave us 2 solutions. He said to fast or get married. Get married. If not, fast. Now you know what, this is a big problem I want to discuss here on this issue of fasting. Now, you see, fasting, you actually have to stop yourself, you have to prohibit yourself from doing that which is halal for you, i.e. eating food and drink. The whole reason why fasting helps you to have control over yourself when it comes to istibna'u bil-yad and other kinds of zina, and like zina generally speaking, is because it gets you to control your desires. It is from our desires and our humanly, bodily desires and needs to drink water and eat food. But if you can learn to control that, then you learn to have control over your body and your nafs. And eventually you get to a point where you can control your desires. Right now you're not in control of them. The outside things that are affecting you, the things that you see, the things that you hear, what you experience, what you watch, what you talk about, what you come into contact with, that's controlling your desires. And that's why you're finding it so hard to resist. But you need to give power to your heart over your body. And fasting does that. It gives power and strength and authority to your heart to be in control of your bodily functions. To the extent where you can prevent yourself from eating that which is halal for you and drinking that which is halal for you, water. If you can stop that which is halal, of course you'll be able to stop that which is haram. The problem is that no one fasts. People come to me all day, every day, bro, I'm having troubles, I'm doing zina, pornography, masturbation. I tell you, fast. And you'll tell me, you know what, bro? Yeah, true. Yeah, I should fast. But nobody fasts. Okay, you fast. Monday, Thursday. Fast more than. I promise you, you will have control. Everyone experiences it in Ramadan. Do you not gain strength over your body? Don't you feel like you stop swearing more? You stop watching bad things. You stop hanging around with some people. You even stop, even if you're linking your girlfriend. Even French Montana, he develops taqwa in Ramadan. There's an interview with him and Khloe Kardashian, his chick. I don't know if he's still with her, right? And she's basically, they're both being interviewed, and French Montana is saying, yeah man, after Ramadan I'm gonna go back to my drinking. And then, Khloe Kardashian is like, yeah man, there's no sex during Ramadan. Like, French Montana develops taqwa. In Ramadan, fasting helps you to get control over, your desires and your body, your heart. It gives it strength. So, brothers and sisters, engage in fasting. That's the first thing, right? Now, I know after all that, some of you are still not going to take this fasting thing seriously. So, let me put it to you this way: if your private parts were to be cut off, sliced off, castrated, will you still have desires? Will your desires still be raging, hormones, running around crazy, getting horny? No. Okay, things are cut off. That's what fasting does to you. It's like the effect of your things being cut off. Let me give you the evidence. The Prophet ﷺ, when he said get married, and then if you can't fast to prevent yourself from your desires, he says فَعَلَيْهِمْ بِالصَّوْمِ. Upon that person is fasting. Why did he say that? فَإِنَّهُ لَهُ وِجَاءٌ. What is wijah? Wijah is the process of taking the tube or the vein that is within the testicle of the camel and cutting it off so that the camel can no longer have children. Basically, things of the camel are no longer working. And the Prophet said, that is what fasting is for you. The effect of fasting is as if your things is no longer there. So if your things is no longer, imagine if the vein and the wire has been cut off out of it, are you going to have desires? No, the Prophet is saying that is how serious and strong and beneficial fasting is when it comes to your desires. The effect of it is it kills the desire. Of course the desire comes back after you get married, so don't worry, but for the time being, fast. Now some of you might say, well, you know what, the time where I get horny, the time where I get aroused, where it gets peaked for me is at night. When I'm sleeping, I'm all alone. I agree with you. So you know what you do? When you fast, don't eat much. Wake up early, stay awake early, and when you break your fast, eat little. Don't eat too much, don't overeat. Don't fill that vessel in a bad way, as the Prophet ﷺ said. Why? Because you know what? That will cause you to be tired and you want to sleep early. And you wake up early, there's more barakah in your day as it is anyway. And be occupied. Be occupied with your time. Try and do things, be occupied with your time. Now, with that said, I want to mention another thing, another preventative measure that will really benefit you in getting rid of your masturbation problem. And that is to lower your gaze. Why do I say this? In Surah An-Nur, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, lower your gaze so that your private parts can be protected. What is the connection between your private parts and lowering of your gaze? Because you're going to look at something, and when you look at something, that is going to eventually lead you to it's going to pop up with desires. People that don't see naked images around them don't get turned on in the first place. That causes them to go and do istibna'u bil-yad. It doesn't cause them to go and play with themselves and masturbate in that way, because they're not exposed to the thing that will arouse them. In order to engage in the act of masturbation, you have to be aroused in the first place. By lowering your gaze, you cut off that arousal. You have to understand, brothers and sisters, that when you're aroused, then you will go and you will mess with your private parts. And Allah said, if you lower your gaze in the first place, your private parts will be protected. So we'll lower your gaze. And brothers and sisters, know this, that the scholars, Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah said that the gateway to the heart is the eyes and the ears. What you look at and what you hear will affect your heart. When you walk out into the streets and you're seeing these girls and your friends are these girls and you're watching movies and you're watching things on TV, like you're watching these things, you're seeing women dressed in a certain way, of course it's going to affect and corrupt your heart. Of course it will. And you know what? Another thing that people take for granted is music. What you listen to. Music is pornography, is audible pornography. It's pornography to the ears, man. That's exactly what it is. You got tracks literally talking about, like that Rihanna track, Rude Boy, won't you get it up? Like you don't even know, subconsciously speaking, you may not even know what that track's about, but that whole track's about an erection. I was actually talking to one brother who's in the da'wah, who recently started practicing. He started practicing a while ago and he's in the da'wah. I was talking to him, I said, and he was just mentioning Jahiliyyah, like my favorite song was Rihanna's Rude Boy. I said, bro, like, and he was actually like Starfire at the moment of Jahiliyyah, he started reciting the lyrics to me. I looked at him and I said, bro, that song's about an erection. So brothers and sisters, please, burn the music, cut it off. It's haram as it is anyway. Don't listen to it, it's haram. Cut it off. Cut off what you see. Don't watch. If masturbation, man, it's resulting in depression, it's resulting in sin. You need to stop yourself, man. And look at how it affects your life. You know how guilty you feel after it, man. You know how you feel after it, man. You know how it affects you. It's gonna affect your future. If you have to stop watching shows, man, if you have to stop watching Made in Chelsea Sisters, if you have to stop watching MTV and watching all these booky things, then stop it, man. There's no benefit in Hollyoaks and EastEnders. Really, I'm telling you, there's not. Don't worry, right? You can back off it. Now, pornography is a big problem, and that's an addiction, which actually goes out the scope of what I want to talk about here, but I'm going to link you guys to this video by Digital Mimba. It's a really good video. It's a very short video, but it shows you how to do with pornography, so I want you to go watch this here. Brothers and sisters, now, I just want to end this video with a reminder to soften your heart, inshallah. I want to tell you a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and wallahi, it's scary. The Prophet ﷺ said that there will be a group of people that will come before Allah on the Day of Judgment. And Allah is going to nullify their actions. Any good they did is going to be deleted. The Sahaba asked, are these people going to be Muslims? Why did they ask that? Is because it is only the disbelievers whose deeds will get nullified. The Muslims, their deeds won't. And the Prophet ﷺ said, yeah, they are going to be Muslims. And you know what's even more strange? Is that they pray like you, and they fast like you, and they even stand the night in prayer. But when these people are alone in the darkness and the doors are closed, they will do every single sin that comes to their mind. This is in Imam At-Tabarani's Mu'jam. When the person goes to engage in the action of istibna'u bil yad, or watching pornography or zina of any type or form, do they not go and they hide in a dark corner of the room, make sure that the doors are locked and the windows are closed and the curtains are drawn, make sure everyone's asleep and no one's around? And that's exactly when they do this sin. They pray and they fast in Ramadan. But as the hadith said, when they're in the dark, they will do the filthiest of sins. Brothers and sisters, why would you make Allah look at you when you're doing that? You will check the door 20 times to make sure a human being doesn't see you. But you want to show Allah that which you wouldn't show a human? Why have you made Allah so low? Why have you degraded Allah to such an extent you've made Him the worst of lookers? Imam Ahmad rahimahullah said in a poem, he said, when you are in the darkness doing that sin, know that the one who created the darkness can see you. Abu Bakr radiallahu an, this man was a man who never even stood up when he was taking a bath. He would always sit down and cover his private parts whilst taking a bath. When asked why, he said, I'm not going to show Allah my private parts. He said, I'm not going to show Allah my private parts. When he used to sit on the toilet seat, he would veil. When he used to answer the call of nature, he would veil his face. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiyallahu anhu, he never straightened his back while taking a ghusl, always covering himself. For Allah is more deserving that we're shy of Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, Abu Bakr didn't want to show Allah his private parts while taking a shower, and you want to sit back and show Allah you doing what is haram, playing with yourself like that, watching pornography, all those sounds. And you know how noble and high and majestic He is and how perfect He is. Brothers and sisters, I leave you with the advice that the Prophet ﷺ gave to a man who said, advise me, O Messenger of Allah. And the Messenger said, be shy of Allah. The same way you would be shy if the most righteous man from amongst your people comes in front of you. If there is someone that you know, this brother, this sister is on point, you feel shy to do haram around them, don't you? Well, the Prophet is saying, be like that, if not more, with Allah. Don't make Allah see those things. On that note, brothers and sisters, I leave you there. Click the like button, share the video, and please don't forget to subscribe. And please keep your donations coming to the link below. The more you donate, the more we can make these videos. If you benefited, please share whatever little bit it is that you can. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So brothers and sisters, as you heard from the brothers here, inshallah you guys have benefited. As we know, Islam caters for everyone. You want to marry a virgin, you have that right to. You don't want to, obviously, like I said, it's better if you can accept that and take that on board. Obviously your reward is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hope you guys have benefited. Please share this with your friends and family if you have benefited. And may Allah's mercy and blessings be upon you all. Also, if you are in a haram relationship, please watch reality from part 1 to part 9 and part 10. And inshallah, with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will leave your boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever it may be, and get married. Share this video. Assalamu alaikum.